You guys, this is the next lesson on probability. We're actually getting into the Venn diagrams. We talked a little bit about it last time with two-way tables and conditional, but here we're going to get into more specifics. So the sample space, denoted as S, is a set of all possible outcomes for a given situation. The elements are the list of all the outcomes or things that belong in a set. Okay, a union is of two events, so it's denoted by or, okay? So this means it's event 1 or event 2 or both, okay? The intersection is the middle of the Venn diagram that represents and, okay? And the complement of an event with this little c, okay? A does not occur, okay? So it does not occur. So a Venn diagram is very similar to a two-way table. We're going to be shading, we're going to be filling this out, and answering some questions as well. So A represents a student with a license, B represents students with a job. Okay, so here's your two-way table, and it's already broken up and split up for you, so we're just going to fill it in. So how many students have a job and a license? So look at the table. Who has both those events? How many students? 41. Okay. Now, how many students only have a job but no license? Okay, so I'm just going to label job here, license here. So students that only have a job but no license is 16. Okay. How many students have a job but do not have that have a license, and no job, which is 25. How many have neither? Okay, no job, no license is 18. Okay, so now what is the sample space? How many students were surveyed in total? 100. If you add it all up, it gives you a total number, which should be 100. Okay, now for B, what is the probability of A union B, which means what is the probability of students having a license or a job or both? Well, if we were going to shade it, you're shading the whole Venn diagram except the outside. So therefore, you will be adding together 25 plus 41 plus 16. That gives you 82 out of 100, and you could reduce, or 82%. For C, what is the probability of A intersection B? That means just this inside. So how many students have a license and a job? It's 41 out of 100. Okay, so you could describe it in words. I kind of went through that already. For B, what is the probability of A union B? Means students that have a license or a job or both. For C, students that have a job and a license. Okay. Now we get into the complement. For D, that means what is the probability of not in A? So the probability that a student does not have a license. So does not have a license. So what would I be shading in? Okay, so it's everything besides the whole circle of A. So it's a little bit of B and all of the outside. Okay, so that means the probability of not having a license is 34 out of 100 because you are adding together 16 plus 18. Now for E, what is the probability that students do not have a job? Well, it's A, only A, and the outside. So only A, which is 25, and the outside, which is 18, is 43 out of 100. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now if we look at the next, this combines a bunch of different symbols. So we have, what is the probability that a student does not have a license but has a job? So basically we're saying probability of students that only have a job. Okay, so only have a job, which is going to be just B, which is 16 out of 100. Then for G, it's a little bit different. It's only students that have a license. Which is just A, which means it's 25 out of 100. Okay, and again, so you guys know, all of these, you could reduce the fractions. Just for time, I'm just keeping them as what the fractions are, as is. Now for H, what does that mean? You have not in A and not in B. So that only leaves students that have neither. No job and no license. Okay, so it's only the outside, which is 18 out of 100. Okay, so I'm going to pause right here. Okay. If we look at example 2, this again is a little bit different. In a group of 100 customers at Big Red's Pizza Emporium, 80 of them ordered mushrooms. So you have one category, one of it that is mushrooms, one is pepperoni. Okay, 60 customers ordered both mushrooms and pepperoni. So that's first and foremost. 60 goes in the middle. Okay, the whole thing is out of 100, but if you add up 80, 72, and 60, that's over 100. Because why? 60 is actually counted twice. So we have a total of 80 of them ordered mushrooms. So this whole circle has to equal 80. Well, we're already using 60 of it. So what is left? So M has to equal 80. So those that only wanted mushrooms is 20. Well, the same thing applies for pepperoni. P has to equal 72. So this whole circle has to equal 72. So how many students, or how many customers, sorry, only wanted pepperoni? That's 12. But again, the whole Venn diagram has to equal how much? 100. So how many customers wanted neither of those toppings? So you have 20 plus 60, which is 80, plus 12, which is 92. You're left with 8. So now it wants you to answer the questions. How many customers ordered mushrooms but no pepperoni? We have 20. How many customers ordered pepperoni but no mushrooms? We have 12. How many ordered neither? Is 8. Now if you notice, it's not asking for probability, so we're just giving the number amount. Okay. So I'm going to pause right now, and I want you guys to try example 3 quickly. All right, so you should have gotten the following Venn diagram. Okay, the key mistake that normally happens is we don't read completely through, meaning that it says the universal set is all whole numbers from 1 to 12. So that's including 1 through 12, okay? So you're given A and B, but you're not given what's on the outside, which is 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, okay? Which is neither in A or B, okay? So for the following probabilities, or for the following, there's no probability because it doesn't show you P in front. What is A union B? That's what's in A or B or both. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What you should not do is list 1 through 7 like that, because that is including decimals, which we don't see here. Okay. For C, what is A and B? That's 3, 4. Okay. For D, what is not in A and not in B? That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If we showed P with A union B, that talks about probability. So you would have a fraction, decimal, or percent, which is not true in this case. You're just listing the numbers that meet that criteria. Okay, so we're going to move on to this one. This is actually listing the animals. We're going to abbreviate, if you notice what's next to them, like crocodiles, green anaconda, kangaroo, Komodo dragon, platypus, leopard seal, and tortoise. So it's checked off what they have, what characteristics they have. So to fill in the Venn diagram, you're using this table above. So crocodile has webbed feet and lays eggs. So webbed feet and lays eggs, you would put a C right there. Green anaconda has nothing, so you would put it on the outside. A kangaroo only has fur, so that goes here. A Komodo dragon only lays eggs. Okay, a platypus has all 3 characteristics, so it goes where all 3 circles overlap. A leopard seal has webbed feet and fur. And a tortoise lays eggs only. Okay, so here is your complete Venn diagram with the initials. Okay, the sample space is all the animals. So that means you have leopard seal, platypus, kangaroo, crocodile, tortoise, Komodo dragon, and green anaconda. Okay, denoted with the squiggly brackets. So now you're going to answer the following questions. I'll do A with you, and then you guys are going to try the rest. Okay, so A is talking about webbed feet or fur or both. So if I was to highlight the circles, what this is talking about is webbed feet. So all the animals in this circle, or fur, all the animals in the fur circle. So that means what makes up webbed feet or fur or both would be crocodile, leopard seal, platypus, and kangaroo. Okay, so when it's or, it's W or F or both. So I want you to try the rest of these on your own, okay? And I will give you the answers shortly. So we're going to pause the video, and you guys are going to try these questions. Okay, you should have got the following answers. For B, that means what animal has webbed feet and fur. Okay, so just webbed feet and fur, doesn't say anything about just in general, only webbed feet or only fur. You're looking at the intersection of W and F. So that's leopard seal and platypus. For C, which animals have webbed feet or fur or lays eggs? So it's every animal except for what's on the outside, green anaconda. For D, what animal has fur and lays eggs, which is platypus? What animal has webbed feet and fur and lays eggs is the platypus again. Okay. For F, which animal has webbed feet but does not lay eggs is the leopard seal. Okay. What animal does not have webbed feet and does not have fur and does not lay eggs is the green anaconda. What animal lays eggs but does not have fur? It's crocodile, Komodo dragon, and tortoise. Okay, so that's a different example. We're just looking at animals. Okay, what's coming next is this example here. Okay, At Dan's automotive shop, 50 cars were inspected, 23 cars needed new brakes, 34 needed new exhaust, 6 needed neither. Well, what don't we know? When we don't know something, what do we put in its place? The unknown, which is our variable, which is x. So we need brakes and the exhaust. So 6 needed neither. Well, how can I figure out this has to totally equal 50 cars were inspected, but 23 cars needed new brakes. So this whole circle needs to equal 23. Well, I don't know what x is, so how can I figure out how many cars only needed new brakes? Well, we take 23 minus x. Then we know 34 needed new exhaust, so that whole e has to be 34 minus x. Well, how do I figure out x? Well, don't we have to add everything together and it should equal 50? Well, it's 23 minus x plus 34 minus x plus 6 equals 50. So when you add this all up, okay, you have 63 minus x equals 50, negative x equals negative 13, x equals 13. So that means we can answer A. How many cars needed both repairs? 13 cars. How many cars needed new brakes but not a new exhaust? Well, what's 23 minus 13? 10 cars. Okay, so there's always a way to find out a piece of the Venn diagram if you don't know. We use basic algebra. Okay, the next example is something we have not seen yet, which is talking about 3 different categories. Okay, we have math, of course, history, and physics. Okay, this total Venn diagram has to equal 85 students. Okay, so 35 students like math, so the math circle has to equal 35. The history circle has to equal 37, and the physics circle has to equal 26. So 20 liked math and history, 14 liked math and physics, and 3 liked history and physics. 2 students liked all 3. So the best way to do this is work inside out. So how many students liked all 3 subjects? Well, there's 2. That goes directly in the middle. Okay, so we know that 20 liked math and history. So this whole piece has to equal 20. Well, we're already using 2 of it, so 18. Okay, now we know 14 like math and physics. So this whole piece here in green has to equal 14. Well, we're already using 2 of it, so 12 is left over. Then we also know 3 liked history and physics. Well, we're already using 2, so 1 is left over. Now, we can add these together. So for math, it has to equal 35. Well, we already have 18 plus 2, which is 20, plus 12, which is 32. Well, therefore, only 3 liked math. Okay. We do the same thing for history and physics. Okay. So how many only liked history? We should have gotten 16. How many only liked physics? Is 11. But remember, the whole Venn diagram has to equal 85. So when you add these all together, you have some students that do not like all 3, which is 22. So based off your Venn diagram, you're able to answer these questions. How many of these students like math or physics? So it's the whole circle of math, which is 35, plus 11 and 1. So you have 35 plus 11 plus 1. So you end up with 47 students. Then how many of these students did not like any of the 3 subjects? Well, it's the outside, 22 students. How many of these students liked math and history, but not physics? How many of these students liked math and history, but not physics? We have 18. Okay, so we took the Venn diagrams and we split it up, again, working from inside out to fill out the whole Venn diagrams. So use your notes to help out with the practice. The practice starts on the next page, which is page 5, and answer those questions. I will be posting the answers to Google Classroom.